One quick note before we start today's podcast. Edward Ashaw from ESPN.com was our expected guest. We recorded the interview yesterday. However, there is a technical issue with that file. We'd already kind of wrapped around it on both sides. So just a head up before we get started this morning that you will hear some indications we're going to Edward Ashaw. However, we're not, but you'll get a good bit of time with Neal and myself. We go through some 9/11 things, Ole Miss football, Ole Miss baseball, and some different stats things, too, that you'll find interesting throughout today's show. So we'll hopefully get Ed back soon.
I had too good of a 24 hours. I got cocky about it. This is why when people go, Neal, you need to be nicer to yourself. No. If I have 3 or 4 things go right in a row, something is going to get screwed up. I'm not capable of having 24 straight good hours. It doesn't happen.
So what you're going to experience here is you're going to experience us saying we're going to Ed. We're going to come right back with ourselves. So just a heads up as we get through today's show. Hey, when you do one every single day, this happens occasionally. I think it's only happened to us twice in like 1,600 episodes. However, 2 of those have been in the last 3 months or so. So maybe we need to pick up our game. But nonetheless, enjoy the rest of the show. Here's today's Oxford Exxon podcast.
From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. We're going to be joined today by ESPN's Edward Ashaw. That's coming up here in a little bit, talking a lot of college football with Ed, a former weekly member. However, he's now out on the West Coast, a little harder to get in touch with weekly. However, he's is joining us this week. Good interview coming up with Ed here in a bit. He and Mr. McCready over here. Podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Let them handle your tailgating this Saturday. They have quart-size sides available, as well as several different options, including pulled pork and ribs. 3 slabs, $33. You get a couple pounds of pulled pork if you like, along with all those different side items, macaroni and cheese, and much more, baked beans, coleslaw, potato salad there at Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Get the Speed Pass Plus app, save some money, make it efficient, make it easy, and put a little extra back in your pocketbook as well. So all those things available at all Blue Sky locations across this state of Mississippi, and with the Oxford Exxon, again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark, tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's really simple. It's right to the bottom line. No haggling. It's just easy. And you get your quote, and after that, it's kind of up to you. You can shop it around, or you can let Corey and the people at Clark Ford do for you what they've done for me and so many others, and that's take the hassle out of the everyday car buying experience. Corey wants to be your car dealer. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll take care of you after the sale in ways that most dealers, frankly, won't. 662-257-1900. At the end of your deal, tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. You can mention any of our family of podcasts, and you'll save $500 off the already great bottom line. Clark Ford and Amory, 662-257-1900.
Neal, you mentioned this when we got done yesterday. We went on September 11th without actually mentioning September 11th yesterday. A little remiss on our part. I obviously knew it when I got up. We were watching George Bush videos and everything else. I guess we had David in studio. We kind of were turned a little different direction. But I do believe in the last 7 years that's probably the first time we have done that. So
yeah, we didn't. I thought about it that morning because I figured we were going to talk about it, and kind of steeled myself so that I wouldn't get all emotional or whatever talking about it, and then we didn't talk about it. So I didn't watch as much about it yesterday as I typically do, only because the day was really busy, but it's still one of those days that is super fresh, really raw. The feelings don't fade for me. It's one of those weird things with kids, because only one of my kids was born at the time, and she was 4 months old, so she doesn't really remember, obviously. They don't understand. they understand, but they can't possibly relate to what it was that we saw and felt living it.
What are the 2 or 3 things that'll always stick with you? Because this is a JFK moment for this generation, and I'm kind of curious about this. Maybe tweet at me, let me know, because this is something I was thinking about last night. I don't wonder what age you have to be to have that clear memory where it's always going to be something. I would assume to understand context, probably talking junior high at the minimum, but I'm kind of curious. So tweet at me if you're around that age group on September 11th. What are the 2 or 3 things that just kind of flash through your head from that day?
Wanting to go home. An overwhelming desire to get home. I was in Auburn. Tuesday at Auburn was, and I guess still is, their media day. Ole Miss does it on Monday. Auburn has always done it on Tuesday because Alabama does it on Monday. And so it was Tuesday morning, and normally I stayed in Auburn until Wednesday. And I would stay till practice, and then I would leave after practice, and I would get home late on a Wednesday night. I was home for a day before I had to turn around and leave again. It was crazy. It was crazy. The newness of that job had begun to really wear off. I was in Auburn way too much. I wasn't home nearly enough. We had a new baby at home. Laura wasn't working. It was kind of a difficult time. The season was still new. And I was already into that point where I was saying 2 down, 9 to go, whatever. And I do it kind of jokingly now. Like I did it Saturday. You and I got on the elevator. I went 2 down, 10 to go. But now it's kind of a joke. Then it was real. 2 down, 9 to go. Auburn had just beaten Ole Miss. Eli Manning's sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And they were getting ready to go to Baton Rouge. And my plan was get everything done so that you can get home on Tuesday, because the game was in Baton Rouge and I was going to have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at home. And I was excited about getting home. And so I loaded up my stuff on Sunday, and Monday was an off day, and man, I holed up in a hotel and worked. I worked. I got up that morning and worked. I can remember stopping to do a quick little workout because I needed just to move and taking a shower and getting right back to it and going. And wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. Isn't it funny how you remember everything about this? Like Charles Goldberg and I, that Monday night, went to this Mexican restaurant because we just got out. I needed to get out. Came back, worked. Got up early that next morning and was working. Had the TV on. Had my stuff kind of packed up. Was really in a great mood because my plan was going to work. I was going to miss the Tuesday night practice. I was skipping the Tuesday night practice. I just wanted to go home. And I had the TV on mute, and it was on the Today Show. And I can remember looking up, and I've told you this before, I can remember looking up and seeing one of the trade towers, like smoke and fire and stuff. And I thought it was a movie trailer. I was really wrapped up in a story I was trying to write. And went back to my work. I was transcribing and writing and, frankly, was doing lazy journalism where, quote, write to the quote, get a new quote, write to that quote.
Machine gun journalism. You're just throwing it out there.
Man, just get done. I wanted to get done. And I looked up again, and it was the same shot. And I just said, oh, no, whatever that is bad. And I stopped, hit the mute button so that the TV came on. And then just remember the rest of that morning just wanting to get home. And we had to do this stupid press conference. Remains one of the, and you know how much I hate weekly press conferences. This remains maybe the dumbest one I've ever been a part of. And bless Tommy Tuberville's heart, no matter what you think about Tommy Tuberville, he knew early, before anybody told him, we're not playing a game Saturday. This is crazy. And he's getting these football questions, Tommy, LSU's defensive line or whatever. It's like, are we serious right now? I was so angry. I've never felt like my job was more trivial than I did at that moment. Just trivial. What are we doing? Are we really asking questions about LSU's offense right now? Americans just hours ago were faced with the decision of, okay, do I burn to death or leap to my death? Those are my two choices. There is no third door. And I was just infuriated, wanted to go home. We got through with that press conference. I wrote something real quickly that was nothing but Tuberville talking about what he'd seen that morning. Got it, jumped in the car, and just left. And I listened to the radio all the way. And when I got home, Laura told me that one of our neighbors at the end of the street, we lived on the street in Midtown Mobile, a lot of young couples that were just like us. And there was this one older couple, I say older, probably my age now, that lived at the end of the cul-de-sac. And she had a brother who was in one of the towers. And the feeling was he had passed away. No one knew, but turns out that I think they had a phone conversation and stuff like that. But I just remember all those feelings of hopelessness and anger and helplessness and
didn't you either earlier in the year or later in the year have to go to Syracuse?
Yeah, so
you had a New York experience at some point in 2001.
I did, days later.
Because Auburn had a home and home with them over a 2-year period.
Yeah. So the game on Saturday between Auburn and LSU was pushed back to December.
Right. Ole Miss had that same thing with Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember watching that Ole Miss Vanderbilt game in Baton Rouge. So Auburn's next game after 9/11 was at Syracuse.
Just the chance of that. I mean, you know.
And so I can remember like being freaked out about flying a little bit because the airlines had only been open a few days. And one of the vivid memories that I have of it, I'm glad you said that because I wasn't going to say this. So I flew from Mobile to Atlanta to Syracuse. There weren't many people on my flight from Mobile to Atlanta, but that wasn't completely abnormal. I got to Hartsfield, which is normally a zoo.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
Really?
There's nobody there.
Nobody's flying.
It was a ghost town. And like I got something to eat. You know, normally you wait in line 20 minutes at a Starbucks, whatever. Just walked right up. Hey, can I get a whatever? And then I got on my plane. It's a plane from Atlanta, Georgia to Syracuse. It's a big plane, 200 and something seats. And I can remember the stewardess saying, sit wherever you'd like. It was like Delta or United or something. I don't know. Sit wherever you'd like. It's more wide open than anything I've ever seen. There were like 12 people on the plane.
Almost creepy.
Oh, no, it wasn't almost creepy.
Yeah.
It was creepy. It was creepy. And got to Syracuse, and there was, because we had made this plan months before. Charles Goldberg and me and Jay Tate and somebody else, because we were going to go to Cooperstown. So we flew up on Thursday, and we were going to go to Cooperstown on Friday. And we still did. But it was just weird. The whole thing was weird. And then on Saturday at the game, Governor Pataki was there. Secret Service was just crawling the place, FBI or whatever, getting into the Carrier Dome. It was one of those first times that your bag really got checked. Like, really got checked. And you were like, please check people's bags. It just was this fear. I just remember it kind of vividly. Just, it took me a long time that year to get back into, hey, the stuff that we write matters. And I had to have somebody remind me, you know, you're now our distraction from reality. You're our escape. So you write about Auburn, and that lets me...
It doesn't matter, but that's the point.
That lets me, for 30 minutes, get away from thinking about all of the people who died on 9/11. And so, Yeah, I mean it's still really profound. It impacted me in a way. I can remember that being the breaking point for me. I can remember going into the press register in the weeks and months following 9/11 and saying, I can't keep doing this. This is stupid. Move me to Auburn or let me do something different. Just let me move. And, they said, we will never move the Auburn beat writer to Auburn. Never. We need you to have a local presence. 2 years later, they moved the Auburn beat writer.
Well, yeah, it makes no sense to not be in Auburn, but anyway.
Stupid. That was right about the time that I walked into the Hilton Garden Inn in Auburn one time, and the girl said, welcome home.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a Friday.
Ooh.
It was a Friday. I walked in. I was there all the time. I got the same room. They would just give me the same room. I was there 5 nights a week.
It was really that bad?
Yeah, it was awful. I could go to the Outback Steakhouse in Auburn, walk up to the bar, because it was the only social – you didn't have any social life. You didn't know anybody. I didn't live in Auburn. I'm in a hotel. My family is in Mobile, and so you'd start planning your Monday, because Auburn's huge media availability on Sunday. If you requested a player on Sunday, you got that player. Period. So, man, we'd get 30 players on Sunday. No joke. And so you had to be there on Sunday, and then there was pointless to get up on Monday, drive home, to turn around on Tuesday and drive back. So on Monday, you would just stay there and work, but there was no media availability. Sometimes I'd go over and I might get an assistant coach or something, but you weren't supposed to. And so like Monday, I'd plan my day around, okay, well, so like 6:30 or 7, I'll go to like Outback and sit at the bar and watch Monday Night Football or whatever, just to get out of this freaking room. And I could walk up to the bar at the Outback Steakhouse in Auburn, where I did not live, and the guy basically knew my order.
So you're like Norm at Cheers, except at an Outback in Auburn.
Yeah.
And you don't live there.
Yeah, it was depressing. But I remember that 9/11 kind of being, for me personally, with that was kind of a breaking point where I thought I can't.
I think I'm right here, but I'm not going to say a name in case I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that Ole Miss had a similar media situation that day. And I've been told a story about multiple people that one of the beat writers actually had a family member in New York that was in peril at that moment or whatever, and how they kind of managed that.
Really?
And, yeah, I'm going to leave the name out just in case, but I think I'm right there. So, yeah, I've heard that story from a local angle, but I don't know. I mostly remember the lines at the gas stations for some reason. It's kind of strange and whatever as that is, considering what happened. I remember immediately it was, hey, gas prices about to go crazy. And it was, in my mind from decades before that, when that was a situation, going, oh, wow. Like I had to drive by like this one specific gas station on my way home, like before I turned off. And I thought, wow, there's just a mass of cars and people and things and whatever. So
the most compelling moment that I remember, whatever reason, the moment that I broke down watching it live, was the second tower falling. I was on the phone with my dad. I'll never forget it. When that happened, I just sobbed on the phone. Just wanted to go home, wherever home was. Wanted to go home. Needed to get home at that moment. Really, almost like basically stopped doing my job. So I don't. I'm still sort of surprised, knowing the kind of person that I am, that I didn't just say F it and drive home. But I stayed for Tupperville's thing, and I wrote a story about nothing but that. And I can remember my editor saying, where's the football stuff? And I said, no. If you want to write some football stuff, you write it. No. I'm not writing about football right now. That's
where's
stupid.
The football stuff?
Where's the football stuff? Because I just wrote nothing but Tupperville's thinking was going through his mind. Do you know anybody there?
Which was needed for the paper the next day.
It was, and I had
at that moment, Tommy Tuberville is one of the 3 most famous people in Alabama.
And I called somebody in Birmingham at the SEC office and asked about the schedule, and got an answer of, "Hey, look, for right now, we're going to make an announcement later.
Probably not playing football."
Yeah, it's like, read between the lines. We're not playing, but we haven't announced this yet because there's some logistics involved. It's cool, got it. And I basically hinted in my notebook there's not going to be a game Saturday. And sure enough, like the next day, I think they canceled the games. That was just a logistic thing. I think that decision was made immediately. But yeah, that's what I remember about it. Just that whole. And then I remember, and we've talked about this, I remember two things where the power of sports came into play. The Cubs came back and played Houston in Chicago, and Sammy Sosa hit a home run and took the American flag out of his pocket and ran the bases. And I always thought that was cool. And I always have a soft spot for Sammy Sosa, even though he was a steroid abuser.
I remember that, actually.
That was a cool moment. And then the World Series.
Of course.
President Bush and that deal. And the Yankees won those home games. That it just felt right for the Yankees to win those home games. And Bush throws a strike. And it was just that legendary voice, where he says, he's gone now. But
the Yankees play-by-play man.
Yeah, I wish I could
PA
think
guy.
of his name.
Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. Go ahead, Mom.
He was phenomenal. He'd say, now hitting for the Yankees.
Bob Shepard.
Yeah. The
Because
shortstop.
Jeter kept it, even after he had passed away, he still had the now batting Derek Jeter.
The shortstop.
Yeah.
Number 2, Derek Jeter.
Yeah. Because it's very
Number 2.
deadpan.
Yeah.
It's just.
And he said, please welcome the President of the United States. And Bush comes out, and Bush kind of has that steely-eyed look, but is also kind of emotional.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. His face at that moment is such a picture of so many things because he's emotional, but it's a very serious, stern, powerful expression too.
And then he throws a dart. And it was like, man, I remember watching that. I get emotional thinking about it. Like, he threw that dart.
It's funny, the location of the pitch was such an interesting thing, but it was.
I can remember, watching it, and when he threw a strike, I was, pumping my fist, yes. It's crazy. It's the first pitch. There's nobody hitting. But it was like, we're going to go kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the crowd chanted USA and all that stuff, and it was just, you were like, whether you voted for that guy or you didn't. And that had been a really contentious election. And yet at that moment, even the most hardcore Al Gore supporters were like, that's for right now. For right now, that's my guy. And we were all, I do remember that. That was as unified as I've ever felt about our country. People took care of one another.
It's the very, very top of the moment from sports and that cross section of everybody being all on one page. Because it's such a fall off. 2 and 3 is probably like Whitney Houston's national anthem during that Giants-Bills Super Bowl that's during Iraq and all that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of that. But, yeah. Diamondbacks 1-7, I guess. Yeah,
the Diamondbacks 1-7. But those games
that wasn't the point.
Those games in New York were supposed to be dramatic Yankee wins, and by God, they were. And it was just
probably very hard to throw with a bulletproof vest on, I would assume.
Yeah, because you go back and you watch that stuff now about him practicing, and I watched some of that yesterday. Him practicing in the bullpen, and Derek Jeter actually walked up to him and said, because he had talked about not throwing it off the mound, and Jeter said, "You got to throw it off the mound, and you got to throw a strike. Mr. President, you have to throw a strike."
Yeah.
And you know what? He was right. You had to get up on the damn mound, and you had to damn throw a strike. And he did. It was a perfect strike.
You couldn't do the lollipop from 35 feet where you just sort of toss it in there.
Nope. You had to go say, you know what? You have messed with the wrong damn people, and we're coming to get you, and here's a baseball to prove it. Even though that's completely stupid when you think about it from the outside. But in that moment, it was like, no. Whether we voted for you or not, whether people think it was legit or not, all that stuff. And for the record, I always like George W. Bush. This isn't a political statement. This was, you're our guy. You're the guy. And he had just gone a month earlier and stood at the rubble and said, I hear you. The nation hears you. And the people who did this are going to hear you. And you're damn right they are. It was that kind of attitude. And he walked to walk up onto the mound, and he stood there for a minute, looked around, and then he was
gave a thumbs up, and then
boom.
Yeah.
Strike one, bitch. And it was like, okay, let's do this. It was just like, let's do this. I remember thinking, let's just do this. And that was just one of those deals. I remember that. I remember that almost as much as I remember the day.
Well, let's talk a little about Ole Miss when we come back. Let's go to Edward Ashoff here in a second and go ahead and talk to Ed. Before we do, I'll tell you the podcast is brought to you in part by Oxford Wine and Spirits, located next to Lost Pizza on College Hill Road. Take advantage of their deal with us. Mention the podcast, spend $150 or more, and you get 5% off wine, 10% off liquor, nil and in their regular. They've got all the Cathead products. I saw somebody talking about the Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur yesterday, and much, much more. So that's Oxford Wine and Spirits next door to Lost Pizza. They're 5% off the industry price anyway, and they'll knock that price on down for you when you tell them you heard about it here on the podcast.
The Oxford Park Commission is currently registering for youth basketball until October the 5th. Leagues are open for ages 5 to 15. The cost to take part is, $50 per child. There is a multiplayer discount for families. This year's season will begin on December the 4th. So visit OPC at oxfordparkcommission.com for more information. The podcast is also brought to you by Brian McLaurin. Excuse me. I've got a lump in my throat. Brian's an experienced attorney offering a unique, highly personalized service to not only repair credit, but also educate clients on the ever-changing world of credit. He will work with you for an entire year to help you create a personalized plan to raise your credit score to help you meet your financial goals. No one else offers this kind of personalized credit counseling. This is why Gambrell and Associates refer their clients to Brian to get a fresh start. So whether you're looking to fight off debt collectors, get approved for home car loans, or for that luxury credit card, let Brian McLaurin get your credit fixed and teach you how to take control of your credit. Brian provides you the valuable information he has acquired through years of experience and research. It allows Brian to offer a unique, personalized service for anyone in any state, as he is always available to his clients by phone and email, and he's ready to work with you. Contact Brian at bhmclaurinlaw@gmail.com or call him at 662-298-2029. The Ole Miss soccer team returns home on Sunday, September the 16th, as they take on the Memphis Tigers for Kicking Cancer Night. Bring the family out, help kick cancer with the Ole Miss soccer team. For more info, visit OleMissSports.com. The Ole Miss football team, as you know, returns to Vaught Hemingway on Saturday as they take on number 1 Alabama. Tickets still remain and are available at OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Locker Stockers. One weekend has passed, but Alabama coming up, Kent State next week. Still time to take advantage of their purchase and delivery of your product to your locker or suite before game day. Makes it easy on you, takes the hassle away. If you did it last week, you realize how valuable your time would be to not have to worry about that. So they're still offering some different specials for you. Contact Locker Stockers at 662-586-1487 or info@lockerstockers.com. Now here's Ed Ashoff on the Billy's Pecans Hotline. Podcast is brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Seto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting, understands your market, a leader in condo financing in Oxford, and the float down option, which allows you to lock in the current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Podcast is also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast, and you'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. The podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you're looking for, and then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. Now back to the Billy's Pecans Hotline and Edward Ashoff.
Podcast also brought to you by Tyson Drugs, TysonDrugs.com. They're located in Holly Springs, downtown. 662-252-2321. Download their app, see all the different ways they can help you, including delivering wherever you are. They're also now in Oxford as well with G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar. They deliver local in the Oxford area.
Guests join us on the Billy's Pecans Hotline. Go to BillysPecans.com, BILLIES Pecans.com. You got to load up. You're getting ready to do your tailgating, starting to think about, believe it or not, starting to think about some of the holiday stuff, starting to think about corporate gifting. Billy's Pecans can take care of you in all of those categories. The cinnamon spice pecans, toasted pecans, multiple varieties of chocolate pecans, chocolate amaretto, chocolate Grand Marnier, just to name a few. The Cheese Krispies are great, make a great gift as well. One of those happies you send to somebody for doing you a favor. Those are there. The pecan brittle is just so much. The pecan coffee cakes, as we start getting closer to the fall and that type of stuff. We'll have a promo coming your way here really soon. But check them out at billyspecans.com or 1-800-624-7404. The podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB is offering 1-year CDs at 1.75% annual percentage yield, 3-year triple option CDs paying 2.01% APY. With that 3-year term, customers can deposit once during the term, withdraw once during the term, and or bump the rate if OUB's 3-year rate rises. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordmakeoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
The chocolate amaretto, they are calorie free, right? Because those sound kind of good, but I'm a little hesitant there on the.
They will not impact your sizing on your Blue Delta jeans
whatsoever.
None.
You can eat as many as you like. You had like 800 this morning for breakfast.
I did. I had a ton of them.
Gave some virtual high fives and then had some chocolate amarettos.
Yeah, I had a good day yesterday, man.
How many high fives did you give today?
Today?
Yeah. How many did you get? How many did you give?
I gave 2, and I got like 3. But yesterday was a good day because I did 2 Peloton workouts, and then
why?
Because I had time. And I got, as you know, I had to go somewhere where it required me to be fitted, and I had lost 3/4 of an inch off my waist. I was pumped. I was excited. It was good. It's a good day.
So you had them check and tell you what you lost.
Well, because I could tell from something I was wearing that I had lost, and I was getting sized for something, and I needed it to be closer to right.
Yeah.
Because the others were starting to get a little big.
Gotcha. You're going to have to get those altered too.
I'm probably
close to it.
Getting close to that place.
Okay.
Where I'll have to get them altered.
Point of no return too.
I know there's a limit too, isn't there?
Well, no, I don't mean that. I just mean once you get them altered, you don't want to ever go back and go, hey, I need these things let out a little.
No, I know. You don't want to ride that seesaw.
That's the thing with that.
That's the problem. So I haven't had red wine in. I mean, I had a little bit in Houston when I was with my brothers one night, but I haven't had any since then. And before that, I had not had any in like 10 days, 2 weeks. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but
that's a fairly notable thing for you.
That was a daily thing for us. Like our day, we have. Like Caroline most nights has dance or something until 7:30, 8 o'clock. And so by the time the two of us, meaning Laura and I, are in the same place together, it's 8:30. And in the past, we'd pour a glass of wine. And she's cut it out. She cut it out before I did. She's completely cut sugar out. Like completely eliminated it. Doesn't have it. She doesn't even, no carbs really, no bread. Like we grilled a pork chop last night and had some roasted Brussels sprouts, and I needed something more than that because I was just needed more. And so I baked a sweet potato. I didn't put anything on it but salt and pepper. She won't even have the sweet potato, which is like good carbs. She's completely eliminated it.
And that's not sustainable long term, but
it's not. And I've told her that. I'm like, hey, you got to be careful because you're going to want.
Yeah, you need carbs at some point.
At some point.
That's not. It's not unhealthy to eat a smart variety of carbohydrates.
Yeah, she's been scared to do a lot of exercise and stuff because of her teeth. because they're just now getting stable. You know, they're getting the caps on soon and stuff. And so she did a lot of kickboxing, but she's kind of scared to go do kickboxing right now. And I get it. I mean, just the jumping and
jarring.
Someone accidentally gets you a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess that allows you to not need the carbs as much. But anyway, all of my virtual friends at Peloton.
Because you're getting the same high fives from the same people at this point, aren't you?
I got a couple of new ones recently. I don't know. I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I laugh.
Clearly,
at it.
you don't have no idea how many you got.
I laugh at it.
What color pants do you get?
Olive.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. They kind of taught me into olive.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't want to get the exact same thing you have. I don't know why. What difference does it make? I like the ones you got. I saw them.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the pink ones, and I'm gonna get them eventually. But
it just didn't seem like the start.
Well, it just didn't seem like the right time of year either.
Well, that too.
I mean,
Practical nature in September. That's
I don't know how much pink you're going to wear in November and December. I mean, I wear if I want to. I mean, by God, but it does kind of look silly.
Around Masters season, the mint green's really sharp. I'm just saying, it would. A little yellow stitching on that.
Yeah, especially if I could lose like 15 more and be like fit, where I wasn't really conscious of it. I'd wear whatever the hell I wanted to wear.
Yeah. A couple of Ole Miss things. We'll start with this. Let's start here. Okay. I got a little view of Ole Miss's baseball schedule. They haven't put that out yet. The non-conference weekends, to the best of my knowledge, are Wright State in Oxford to open the season. They play the home and home, finish that up with Tulane. So they go to New Orleans for that, give fans a weekend there. I think that's really good, really smart. Long Beach making the return to Oxford after Ole Miss went out there last year, and then UAB to finish. So the biggest thing with that, I mean, you have Wright State, but otherwise, at least things that are sort of close by are sort of interesting. Also, a midweek series at Louisville. Ole Miss does that a lot. I'm assuming Louisville will return that trip to a weekend next year. In the past, the two other times they've done this, Ole Miss has gone to Louisville for two. Louisville will give them three in return, so it just is what it is. So they've got that, and then I don't know where East Carolina has been or going, but they've got a Wednesday game against East Carolina at one point in the season, just a one day in Oxford before they move on, so I'm not sure what's up there. Might be on East Carolina's way somewhere like Memphis or something, playing an American game, and they can just squeeze down to Oxford a couple days early is my assumption. It's kind of like when Ole Miss would go to LSU in past years. They'd go to Hammond or somewhere and play the midweeks on the road before they head to Baton Rouge. So those are the highlights of the schedule. The home and home with Memphis is still there. I wasn't sure about that, but I was wrong, so it is. They still have the home and home with Memphis. And some other teams in the SEC, they miss Vanderbilt, they miss South Carolina, and they miss Georgia, to the best of my knowledge. So pretty good there. You got to play Florida, but missing a couple of those other ones, not the worst thing in the world when you get Missouri and Tennessee on your schedule. So they close with Tennessee. State's late in the year. Arkansas is very early in the year, I think. So anyway.
They go to Fayetteville this year, right?
They go to Fayetteville this year. That is correct, yes.
What is the date on that? Because they play basketball in Fayetteville late in the basketball season.
Hold on, I'll tell you.
I bet it's the weekend of the SEC tournament.
Do you?
I just got a gut feeling.
Ole Miss in the SEC, they open with Alabama in Oxford.
Okay.
Good way to open. And then let's see, they go to Missouri and then play at Arkansas the next week. So we're talking
1st of April.
March 29th, 30th, and 31st.
Okay.
Something like that. So, yeah. A lot of road games in a row. Ole Miss goes to Missouri.
Got a feeling I might cover that one for you.
Okay. They go to Missouri, then go to Memphis for a midweek, and then go to Arkansas. So 7 away from Swayze Field there during that stretch of the season before they come home and play North Alabama. North Alabama, a D1 school for the first time this season, and then stay home to play the Florida Gators, and what will probably be a pretty big weekend in Oxford, I would assume.
You seen how much that part of Alabama is growing?
I'm not over there much at all.
Man. I mean,
that Huntsville, Florence area.
Huntsville, Florence, Madison.
Yeah.
Booming. I bet North Alabama, I bet the enrollment at that school is jumping.
What
UAH, there's like a lot of business going there.
What's the football injury report after yesterday?
Football injury report. Cavante Ruggs was back working with the starting defense. DeMarcus Lodge was back. He was in a green jersey, but, that's probably just precautionary. Tisdale was out there but in concussion protocol. Ben Brown's in concussion protocol. Bicknell said he felt pretty good about that. Bicknell, if you don't normally watch videos, I get it. Sometimes they're kind of disjointed because multiple people are asking questions. The Jack Bicknell video that's embedded in my notebook, which is on rebelgrove.com, it's part of the Rivals Network. It's really good. You should watch it. You'd like it. It was really good. He was very entertaining and had some really interesting things to say that didn't feel like lip service. Really bragged on Phil Longo. Talked about how, and then the quotes are, I wrote the quotes out for those of you who don't like video. It's cool. He talked about it being the best run game offense that he's ever been a part of.
Really?
Yeah.
Your mailbag is out front. Any question or two there as we get ready to close from the mailbag that intrigued you?
There was a lot. I did a whole bunch. I don't remember now that you put me on the spot, like which ones stood out. There were some funny ones, and there was one asked me what I thought they would have done last season had Hugh Freeze been the coach. And I answered it honestly. I think they would have gone 4-8, 1-7, and I think it would have been a chaotic season. What I believe. I think Freeze would have been distracted by the NCAA thing.
You did answer a lot of questions.
I did.
You've got a couple double spaces in here where it didn't format correctly. I'll fix it in a second.
We'll all get through.
I mean, you wrote 2,500 words. I probably shouldn't.
We'll all get through this together.
I'm a little OCD about formatting.
And I did some of that while watching the Cubs last night. May or may not have poured some bourbon over.
So I didn't have wine, but
total different. It's just a different calorie deal.
Okay.
Different calories.
Whatever you got to tell yourself to get through the day, it's fine.
Google calories.
Oh, well, okay.
Google calories and
that's
bourbon.
Really as good as hiring a dietitian, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I need a glass of something at the end of the day. I mean, some days it's just been a lot going on.
Yeah, let's not act like we're teetotaling around.
I have no interest in that. I mean, that might expedite some form of physical appearance improving, but there are limits.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I'm just kind of curious. There's a give and take there, I think. So
we get Matt Luke tonight. I assume we'll get Jordan Ta'amu tonight. Some people have asked about wanting to know Jordan's thoughts about going against Tua Tagovailoa, a fellow Hawaiian. Go back and watch the video from Saturday night after Ole Miss Southern Illinois. Jordan was the strategic partners and media player of the game, and I asked him about it. It was a pretty good answer. Interesting. Speaking of the game, if you're coming up and you are planning to tailgate, it's not too late to let 7 South help you. And quite frankly, given what's probably coming to town this weekend, Mama, what are all these tents? It's part of a football stadium? It's going to be that kind of thing in the Grove. It's going to be a little nutty. Let 7 South help you. Let them take some of the pressure away. They're celebrating 10 years of business this season. If you've tailgated with them once, you'll never tailgate without them again. You can set up your own gear. Or if you don't have your own gear and you just want to tailgate, get in touch with Kyle Thornton and the people. You can rent everything from them. No one matches their customer service, their attention to detail. It's 7southtailgating.com. And if you're heading over from the Birmingham area and you're in the market for real estate, let Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate help you. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. Please visit her website, meganmphillips.com, MEAGANMphillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, her number, 205-602-7929.
And if you're coming from the east, get here earlier. There'll be a lot of traffic from the east on Saturday.
What time will you head to the stadium? You and I normally go to the stadium about 2 hours before.
I leave my house 2 hours before if I'm not worried about traffic at all. I'll bump that up another 20 minutes.
Oh.
Something like that. Not crazy, but just because we're still going early enough that you're not hitting that last-minute rush into the place. And everybody's already been tailgating's already there. So.
Well, that's true.
So it's sort of that middle ground that's okay when you're getting there.
This is the week when Kara won't even ask you to go to the Grove, right? She knows better.
She always knows better than that. Yeah, but it's also the one where, Carly Ann went last weekend. She won't go this week because it's a 6 o'clock game. She'll have to be in bed way before that would be over and trying to get out of there and get home and different things. So, no, I'll be just my lonesome this week as opposed to last week when the 3 o'clock game worked out well for everybody. So, yeah. Getting to that age, probably the toughest one because I think probably at like 3, 4 years old, they actually can sort of kind of enjoy being somewhere. At 2, they're just running up and down steps and all over the place. Well,
I saw her picture. She was not happy with the defense.
Yeah, apparently she had a very frustrated look on her face at some point during the first half yesterday.
She wasn't alone.
Yeah. I had some videos later with like pom-poms and stuff, so it appeared like a chicken strip or something probably perked her up, but it's okay. It's all good. We'll throw 2 things out. Snap count and grades up from the Southern Illinois game on RebelGrove.com. I put that together yesterday on the site. A lot of interesting information. But 2 things. Everybody talks about the defense. There are 2 obvious things that continues to happen for Ole Miss defensively that are causing problems everywhere else. First, there are certain guys that just have to be good for Ole Miss to operate at peak efficiency. They did not get that on Saturday. You look at the front end and the defensive line. And when I look at the defensive line here, you've got Benito Jones scoring a 63. Needs to be better than that every single week. Benito's just not playing the way we thought he would earlier in his career after the injury. They've got a lot of blah there on that defensive line. Kadir Shepard, a 57.9. They're doing all those things. But then the other interesting part to me was Austrian Robinson was the only player to grade out at least in the 70s or higher from a pass rush standpoint on the defensive line. They're getting no pass rush from the front 4, and that is creating all sorts of problems elsewhere. And then on the middle tier of the defense with the linebackers, Mohamed Sanago, who is a starter, supposed to be kind of key in this thing, 51.1 for his grade despite having 10 tackles. And then Dietrich Bing Dukes, he grades out 38 in tackling. Well, that's the one thing that he's in there for is making contact and finishing contact when he gets that opportunity. And then Montrell Custis had a pretty bad day on the back end, 57.4 for Custis. So that's 3 players, 1 at each level, that Ole Miss really needs to operate efficiently and effectively every single week. They're not getting that. Pass rush numbers not very good. Tackling numbers weren't very good. On the other side, as we mentioned, Vernon Dasher and Jacquez Jones with really big, pretty complete days for Ole Miss defensively.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the 2 freshmen a lot on Saturday. Ruggs, Jones. But you're right, Chase, man. They didn't get much pressure on the Texas Tech quarterback.
Mm-mm.
And if you don't do something to get Tua Tagovailoa uncomfortable, he'll kill you. This kid's got an elite arm. He is special.
Yeah, pass rush stats. Jacquez Jones at 96.8. He had 3 pass rushes and got to the quarterback all 3 times, so that's going to constitute a very, very high percentage. Austrian Robinson, pretty good. 26 pass rushes, 73.9. That's pretty good. It's in green.
It's a solid.
Below that, though, there were only 2 more in any shade of yellow to green and a lot of orange and out. There was only 1 more guy even above 62 from a pass rush standpoint.
Who was that?
That was actually Custis on 4 pass rushes.
Yeah.
But counting defensive linemen, the next best score was Ross Donnelly at 62.7 and 14 rushes.
Where was Ryder Anderson?
Ryder Anderson in pass rush was at 56.8.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot there.
Yeah. They need to get a lot more. I don't know.
Victor Evans, 55.4.
Recruiting.
Victor Evans had the worst pass rush score on the team Saturday.
Had a touchdown, though.
He did have a touchdown, which, I mean, that inflated his overall score. He had an overall 81.3 because of the touchdown and the havoc play.
Right.
But looking at it more by subhead.
I got a little criticism. I did Andy Staples' show yesterday, and we had some fun with it. We laughed about stuff because he asked me, what was going on with the defense, and I said, well, they're kind of slow in spots. They're not particularly athletic in some spots, and they don't get in the right place in spots. And that's not the greatest combination. So people got mad, and we were laughing. I also pointed out the hypocrisy in some of the national media narrative about Ole Miss. When you watch this football team, this would have been Hugh Freeze's sixth football team. When you watch it, man, the whole they were throwing money at everybody narrative, it doesn't hold up. You can't make that work.
7th football team.
It would have been a 7th. He would have been super established right
12,
now.
13, 14, 15, 16,
Right.
17, 18.
As I said it, I thought that doesn't sound right. You're right. He would have this it doesn't add up. If they were paying kids in 13 and 14 and 15 the way that some in the national media like to accuse them of, there would be more talent on the field right now on that side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. So, plenty of coverage at rebelgrove.com. Again, Neil's mailbag is up. We'll have a big show tomorrow as well to close out the studio versions of this here podcast. So come back for that. Check the site. Go participate on the message board. Subscribe. All those good things. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow.